Welcome to this experience tonight. And this is experience of consciousness itself as it manifests in real time. So place your hands at the heart center. Inhale deep. And exhale. Again, inhale deep. Take this breath and in a visualization form, take it into your body. Close your eyes as you do this. Take this breath down all the way to the base of your spine. Feel it circulating there. Feel it moving the energy around. Feel the earth below you, the gravitation. And exhale. Inhale again, deep. And take this breath now. Move it from the first center into the second center, the sexual center. Feel that energy, that procreative energy, that idea to continue, that intent. And then move that energy up into the third center. Catch it underneath the rib cage. Hold the three together and exhale. Inhale again, one more time. Hands at the heart center. Hold this breath and feel this energy percolating up the spine now. This is the Kundalini, and it's biological. It feels that way. It moves through every cell in your body. Let it come up into the heart center. And these are visualizations of interdimensional relationships in consciousness. And each time you move through a center of consciousness and exhale. Inhale, we're going to chant Adgre Name, Jagadgre Name, Satgre Name, Siddhi Guru Dev Name. And the idea there's a primal intelligence that seems to be programming all of this reality. And it gets sidetracked, distracted, it gets a little bit strange. But that primal reality is odd, primal. Jagad, the continual, the organizational part of it, the moving through time and space. The harmonic as the pebbles dropped in the water. Sat, truth, ultimately becomes that harmonic that bounces back and forth. Seems to, that's the visualization of this. Siddhi Guru Dev Name. The teaching beyond all, the original source code for the DNA, for everything, as it's filtered down into some kind of coherence in whatever language we're using to try to get a feeling for that description. Trying to reduce a multidimensional experience to a 3 or 4 dimensional language, coding language, English in this case, always limits it. And by limiting it, you also create it. You create these relationships that are misunderstood, sometimes misconstrued. So you have to bring yourself back to the source of this. Adgre Name. Primal. Jagad, the continuing, the organizational, 37.2 trillion cells worth, right? That's the organization we're involved with right now. You're the CEO of this thing. Pull those cells together. Remind them what you're doing. And what you're doing is creating a structure to have a relationship with a multidimensional experience of the intent of consciousness itself. And it's that serious. This is that serious. This is what you're doing. You're creating a coherent construct personality that has accessibility through a multidimensional time space, coherent going through life and death, coherency of stated purpose. Think about the difficulty of creating that structure, that personality that has the possibility of kind of getting a feeling that might be possible. So this is what this class is about. Adgre Name, Jagadgre Name, Satgre Name, Siddhi Guru Dev Name. Okay? And Gre means Guru, basically. This is the primal. This is the primal coding. Okay? So we'll just chant this with me to set the intention of this class. So again, inhale, hands hit center. Adgre Name, Jagadgre Satgre Name, Siddhi Guru Dev Name, Adgre Name, Jugat Gare Name Sat Gare Name Sri Guru Deve Name Ad Gare Name Jugat Gare Name Sat Gare Name Sri Guru Deva Name. Just take a few long deep breaths. Let yourself settle into this. We're trying and we're going to create a self-hypnotic trance space here that allows the formation of the witness, of the part of you that's always been kind of aware, part of you that started with the single cell or the double cell as you were created in this body. This is a class of remembrance. And remembrance goes back to our cellular structure. It goes back to the original coding of the intent of having a human form. And think about what that took, what kind of evolutionary movement through time and space of pushing and shoving, killing, being killed, everything else to create these bodies, these structures. And the intent is still there. We're still moving along that pathway of connective quality of consciousness, ever so more complicated, requiring group consciousness, requiring the relationship, democracy by telepathy, that kind of relationship, the shared mind space without the schizophrenic breaks. There's a trust involved in that. There's a trust involved in the discipline, the self-discipline of each of us. If we're going to share a mind space, then I have to trust you not to go sideways on it, not to abuse it, not to get stuck in some kind of fractal personality defect. And you have to trust me to be the same. There's a level of love involved in that trust. There's a relationship, this student-teacher relationship, and it goes both ways. Students, teachers are symbiotic. They work as a reflective and reflective nature of each other. So watch your breath as you go into this. We're creating that state of consciousness, the possibility of having that witness space that allows you to actually change the coding of all of this. And that requires you to make a statement of intent. What would a vision look like if you could create the future, if you could create consciousness, if you could start to code this dream that we're all involved in here, accurately and coherently? What would that look like? And this is the question, I think, that probably is the only question that really needs to be answered for any of us. What would that look like? What would it look like if you had an intent to create? If you were the creator of the universe and you take on that particular bodhisattvic type of relationship, what would that look like? Healing everybody? No pain, no suffering? Pure love? How do you move through to create structures? Both physical, houses, ashrams, places of worship, places of continuity. How do you do the physical manipulation of that? Money is energy field. Those are the nuts and bolts that we've created this particular dream out of. But they're just matrix points. They're not real. But yet we have a relationship with these bodies that we've also created that have a relationship with the physical reality. And we have to deal through that pain type of nerve endings. How to become part of a system of consciousness, a collective consciousness. And the only way I can anyway articulate that may be possible is truthfully with the heart center opening. Because the self is still there, the self-awareness is still going to be there for us. But the nature of that self-awareness is total compassion. Accepts the responsibility of each of us to be part of our own self, to be part of this self. I always feel like I'm talking to myself. That's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to, in a sense, find a way to tell this particular personality of Sukhmander, how it might be possible to have a relationship with that infinite consciousness. So I try to talk around that. I know I've seen it, I got it, and now how to incorporate that vision into a practical reality. Kundalini is real. The life force is real. That's all that's going on here. This force, as it manifests up through the body, spins around, opens up the bodies, creates a central channel. That's as real as it gets. Everything else is just lost in the fractal nature of reality. Neither here nor there. So I want to do this, let's do some breath of fire to get the space. So sit with a straight spine. By this time you should be somewhat comfortable. I sit on the cushion, so you're comfortable with your body here. If you got to stretch your legs out, do so. Everything straight. And let's just close your eyes, focus on the ajna, the third eye center, and that means going inside behind the sinuses, and that little ball hanging down there, that pituitary, and up to the spinal column, a little farther, catch the pineal right in the center between the two halves of the brain, a little tiny little grain salt thing there, right? Vibrate those together in a visualization nature and feel the two spinning cycles of energy, the Ida and Pingala, creating these two serpent-like forms, catching right there between the two and flickering their tongues, so to speak, the energy between the pituitary and pineal glands. Change the chemistry of your brain just by thinking about it, because it's that subtle. These aren't big chemical bounds. These are just receptor sites that need to be opened. And it's a biological formation, not just psychological. We're creating hardware and software both together to work together. Okay? So begin breath of fire. Keep that vision going up the spine. Have the locks somewhat set, the bandhas. Get a rhythm. Keep your eyes closed. Focus on the sounds you hear. Keep up with the breath of fire. Pumping the diaphragm. Setting the navel. The first, the second chakras are tied into the third, the navel. This is the root lock. This is the point, the primary thing. You set that. Keep up with the breath of fire. Everything works through the biology of the Kundalini. You set the heat, the tapas. You set the form around it to relax, even though you're stretching it and moving it around. You're sealing off the energy. You're not letting it leak out. And you're bringing it up underneath the rib cage. Clicking it in place. Just feel it going in there. Opening up the heart, pulling the shoulders back. Keep up with the breath of fire. Let the breath of fire become who you are. Chin is down. Take the tongue and touch the top of the palate. Don't block off the nose, obviously. Keep up. This is a relationship with your body. The breath takes in the prana, the life force. And that does seem to be accurate, by the way. We're not just saying this is because it's written this way in the Yoga Sutras. This is personal experience. The breath takes in the life force energy. And as you take that breath and move it around, as you move it around, churn it in the base of the spine and seal it, pull it up, it allows to come up and it heals every cell of the body. You'll actually feel it like this warm honey coming up your spine, up your whole body. And you'll feel your organs. You'll feel everything as you do this. You'll start to feel it moving the energy through, and you visualize that, and you welcome it. There's an idea of devotion here. There's an idea of sacrifice and service in the sense of welcoming this energy. It's going to change you. It's going to move through you. It's going to do what it does. Kundalini manifestation, psychologically speaking, has to have a devotional aspect. Otherwise, it gets lost in power struggles and fractal movements that way. And, lust, anger, greed, and pride, and attachment, those kind of things are always encircling that, and there's entities out there that attach to this kind of a stream of consciousness. So you have to become focused. You've trained yourself now through discipline. Keep the breath of fire going. After a while, the diaphragm itself is the only thing that's moving here. You're not worrying. You're sitting with your body totally relaxed, and that diaphragm is just pumping. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale deep. Hold the breath. Spine is straight. Have the locks set. Feel the energy. Pull it up from your root. Just grab onto it. Pull that sphincter muscle tight. Pull that diaphragm right in. Pull it in and up. Grab the sexual organs and pull them up. Right up underneath the sternum here, okay? Pull them up in there. And exhale. One more time. Inhale deep. Grab the energy again. Focus it. Let it move through your body. And gradually relax your breath now, but sit with a straight spine. Pull your shoulders back. Feel this energy moving through your body. Allow the body to move with it. It's almost like a dance. It's like this energy is flowing through you. You'll feel the heat, the warmth of it. And it'll gradually, you'll feel where there's any blockages. Just pull it through. Heal those places that are lacking in prana, in life force. Move this prana. Allow it to move through your body. Don't let it leak out. Seminal fluid, the whole idea, all tied together. This is the ojas. This is the biological nectar of consciousness itself. And it should be somewhat orgasmic, but it should be orgasmic on the higher sense of it. You're changing the chemistry of the brain one way or another here. And the idea of this is to open up some of these higher centers. And then to maintain a pathway of openness so it does work continually. So your whole life is you're in a dream state in a sense of worshiping that light that seems to be animating everything. And you're watching for that animation to come out, different people and different things. And you look at it, and you go, I see you. Because you're seeing that reflection of Shiva Shakti continually playing out on this fractal nature, this play that you start to live in. And this is the nature of being able to program that consciousness, because you have a relationship with it. And it's an intention, right? If you want to love something or somebody, give it your attention. That's all that's required. Give it your attention. Look at it. Relate to it. Have a relationship with it. If you have an intention toward consciousness, you have to give it your attention. You have to bring it back continually. You have to create disciplined patterns. Inhaling sat, exhaling nam, inhaling truth, exhaling stress. That's built into the fabric. Every breath you take, right? Inhaling sat, exhaling nam. Every time your heart's beating, right? That's an undulation. That's moving through. It reminds you even that beat of the heart, the pulse, kicks you back into truth is my identity. And this is a self-hypnotic trans-programming state you have to get to with this. Because somehow you have to create a compressive algorithm of consciousness here to compress your personality construct, whoever you think you are, whoever you've been led to believe you are, whatever life has given you the cues and press points to remind you of who you are. You have to compress that. And that compresses to a bindu, a point of absolute nothingness in a sense. A black hole is compressed, energy fields. And that slips through the conscious and subconscious mind and creates a superconscious mind. It's a practical way to do this. The discipline that you create by allowing this to happen, the reminder that you build into the system of the biology of who you are, the way you do this becomes the commentary, the narrative of your consciousness to itself. And these are the practical teaching moments. This is what's really being taught here. Lineage situations, yoga, Kundalini yoga itself. Whatever you do is good. There's nothing really wrong. It's just things are being sold, and I have no desire to sell you anything. I'm a terrible businessman. I don't care. Nothing to me. To me, the thought is I'm talking to myself in consciousness. And how would I talk to myself if I was saying, self, wake up. How is this possible? Remember self. Remember what you're really doing here is creating that relationship with the awesomeness of this experience of consciousness. How would I talk to that self? What relationship would I bring to the table to have a love affair with that self? And that's where we're at with this. The narrative that we tell ourselves, the storyline that we put ourselves in, that we subscribe to and put our attention to, which is our love to, refine it, define it, make it to the point. I think that's important, and that's what that's what I find myself continually doing, is refining it and defining it. Setting that sequence of my actions, my thoughts, my words, so they line up. And then make that connection back to the source of all this. And that's the only thing I can think that's what's going on. This is, again, I always talk to myself this way because I don't quite know how else to do it. I have this experience of overwhelming love and expressions of consciousness, of the Kundalini rising, of the crown chakra opening. How to describe that? How to remember that? How to fractalize and bring it back down to some coherent reality? How to share that? All right, let's stretch our right legs out. And grab your toe if you can. And if you can't, just go where you can. The idea here is we're going to do the Wahe Guru mantra. And the inhale Wahe, exhale Guru. You're going to actually make the sound with the inhale. And you're just going to gradually bounce a little bit. You can make the bounce big or small. I like to twist around a little bit and stretch my back out and see what's going on. I use it as that kind of meditation. Ultimately, it's a self-hypnotic, rhythmic harmonic that we're creating here. So just fall into it. Let yourself be hypnotized to yourself. Okay? Guru, 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 why 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 Guru. Vibrate the tongue a little bit on Guru. Feel it up the nasal passage. Guru, why 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 Just come down for a moment and stretch. Feel. I mean, it's not like you're pulling or anything. You're just kind of letting yourself relax into this position. Your breath is long and deep. And you're just feeling this, letting yourself relax. If anything, this isolation time, it'll teach us is how to relax, how to tune into our bodies and find a way to live a slower, more relaxed, contemplative lifestyle. Okay, inhale up. Let's change legs. Same thing, Waheguru. Stretching out that life nerve, that story. Just feeling good. You just want to get this body so it doesn't bug you, that it can be a part of this consciousness. And then you can relax into it. You can have fun with it. It should be enjoyable. It should be pain-free. It should be ecstatic. It should be outrageous. Why wouldn't it be? I mean, if you're going to make a prayer for your life, make it a prayer that encompasses that. Everything. And if you're going to do that, that means everything. You're going to be exclusive, that's a different club. But if you're going to be, in a sense of relating to the universal consciousness, there's a relationship with everything. Yin and yang, good and evil, light and dark. All these things flow around in this binary system of coding consciousness. And you can change that. You can move with it. It's dynamic. It moves through time and space. So catch the intent. For me, I have fun with this. This is where I want to hang out. This is the joy of this thing. So joy. Make it joy. Exuberance. Why not? Feel the energy moving through your body. And reach down and grab your toe. Back to that self-hypnotic. It's an undulation. You just set a rhythm, that's all. Guru, why, 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 why, guru, 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 why, 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 guru. Exhale down. And just let yourself come down. Relax your breath. Feel this movement along the sciatic, along the back, lower back, upper back. Relax where you're tight. Relax where you're holding this energy. Stretch a little more. Feel it. Move your body. Get a feeling for this. You got to do it. You got to find a way to communicate to your own cellular structure the possibility of the ecstasy of consciousness itself and share that with your body. Allow your body to let the endorphins happen. Change the structure of the neurology, right? Open up some of those channels. Orgasmic. Oxytocin. Change some of these chemical balances just by thinking. Bring the energy up. You don't let it out, except when it comes up. You move it through the different levels of consciousness. It's not that you don't have accessibility to the entire realm of consciousness, from the elimination through the sexual, through the power structures, creating these in 3 and 4 dimensional structures, into the heart of compassion. All of these are open to you as an experiential form, and you can move up and down and vibrate and create a harmonic between all of it. Why not? The harmonic is what matters. Imbalance, fears, phobias, repressed situations. Let go. Not important. You don't have to hang on to that shit. Not important. No reason to. Maybe it's genetic. Maybe it's years and years and oppression for lifetimes, right? You don't have to hang on to that. You can let go of that. You can do it. Say, really? For all these generations, our family structure has been by these feuds of Cain and Abel and whatever mythological story we've subscribed to through our generations. Why? What the deal? Why would you? What if the story was your own relationship with universal consciousness? What if that's the only story going on? Just you in that relationship. So we program ourselves with these type of exercises. They become hypnotic, they become rhythmic, and we instill it with each breath. For in this case, Wahe, expression of infinite. Guru means the light within, the Jot within. That's the coding sequence here. And that's the reminder. And when it's tied into the breath, we train ourselves to breathe that way, even when we're walking through the days, doing stuff. Our breath remembers to inhale Wahe, exhale Guru. It remembers because we trained a rhythmic pattern in a self-hypnotic way. And that permeates the conscious subconscious mind and allows the state of consciousness to have some validity and stability. And that's the deal, right? How to create a schizophrenic mind space and not be schizophrenic. How to create a non-dualistic mind space and not be schizophrenic, and to be stable. And it's structurally involved. So bring your leg back in and let's sit up with a straight spine again. Now, the big deal with Kundalini Yoga is setting the third center. You have to set this navel. You got to learn how to do it. And you'll feel when you get it. It locks everything right in place. It's a definite focal point of this whole thing. So if you're weak in the navel point, do some leg lifts. Do stuff you need to do. This is your own basic exercise. Get stronger. Find a way. You have to you can't go to the gym now, but when you can, whatever you got to do, however method you've got to talk yourself into getting this third center involved, that's what you got to do. Martial arts is great, Whatever you got to do, whatever storyline you've got to talk yourself into and say, well, if I do this, I can get this, right? Talk to yourself. Find a way to do it. Set the navel. So as you're sitting here with a straight spine, let's move the navel around from side to side. You can go from left to right first, okay? Big circles here. You're just moving that navel around. As you push in, you exhale. As you pull your stomach around outside, you inhale. It just becomes this kind of long and deep. You can go faster or slower, but move that energy around. Pull it. Pull the intestines around. Move that. Massage the organs themselves. Pull this energy. Get a feeling for it. You can do it. Pull it around. And when you get this movement, this circular motion moving, this starts with the Ida. Okay? This allows this Kunda, this Kundalini, this spiral form of consciousness to start unwinding. This is how you have to do it. You've got to physically set the biology, right? You got to deal with it. There's no way out of this. It's not you're going to find some magic thing. You've got to, but what's cool about magic, in a sense, you can ask for something. If you can ask for it, first of all, with devotion, it has to manifest. It just does. So don't be afraid to ask. Just have a coherent question in mind. Okay? All right, now let's change direction. Same thing. Breath around, side to side. Feel the energy. Just move your navel. Pull it in and out. Again, massage all of the organs and lower back. Release any of the kidneys. Feel that in your lower back. You can heal yourself of almost any disease by taking the time to pay attention to the organs in the body. That's all you got to do is pay a little attention and focus on it a little bit. You don't do a lot. Just get a feeling for it and then send the energy to it. Feel this love, this vibrant joy. And why not? Pull it up your spine. Feel it moving around those organs. Feel it healing everything. Feeling it creating natural channels of consciousness into health and vitality. These type of visualizations, when they're activated by an actual kriya, a movement, become extremely potent. Okay, inhale and exhale. And just sit with yourself for a moment and relax your breath. Be comfortable. Just Spine is straight. Shoulders are back, chin is down. Focus third eye center. But the navel is set, right? The first three centers are under your control. You've got the first three centers clicked into place. It's just like that. Click. There. Energy automatically moves up. The third eye center automatically opens. This now becomes almost a silly psychedelic type experience, because you've actually activated these receptors with your own biochemistry. When you send the energy to it and the attention to it, it opens up the biological nature of this, the visionary nature, the beauty nature of it. Allows you to sit in that state of consciousness in awe, in comfort. Where do you go? This is a question that probably would be beneficial for all of us to examine. We have to, moving between the conscious and the subconscious mind requires the compression of the algorithm, right? Compression of the self. Where do you go when you fall asleep? How do you do that? How do you trick yourself not to be conscious? Where's that self-hypnotic space you get into? And you know it's there because you have to. Follow that trail. See how close you can get to that vanishing point. This is how you meditate. When you get to that trail as close as you can to that vanishing point, and you're basically starting to lose consciousness, get your breath going with it. Very subliminally, inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam, inhaling Wa, exhaling Guru. Get that going in the background. And let that flow through that nexus point, that Bindu point. And that will be there on the other side, waiting for you. This is the experience, and this is the discipline of consciousness that sets the mantra in place. So when you cross over between conscious and subconscious mind into a awakened state, that mantra is there to catch your attention. Your body is programmed to doing it. It's already done. And all of a sudden, you're on the other side of this mirrored consciousness. The possibility of this relationship becomes visionary. Becomes awesomely visionary. You sit comfortably in your own home of your own body, bathing in that light, experiencing the possibility of that, in awe of what that might even mean. There's that attitude of gratitude that's almost beyond words to express, of course. So this is the idea of grace. And grace is a relationship. Grace is an affair with this state of consciousness. And it naturally occurs. It's I would, at least speaking for myself, which is the entire universe as far as I'm concerned, that's the intent of that, is this relationship. That's what it comes down to. The coherence that I can express that to you, and you can express it to me, is the relationship. The trust, the love, the idea of awaking each other up as a continual harmonic here. That's the idea. This is there's no teacher and student, it's the same. It's the universe talking to itself, trying to say, hey, wake up. Let's see if we can make this work. Let's see if we can make something so outrageously cool and beautiful that we all can agree on brings us happiness and joy and everything around us, natural health. And then being nuanced enough in that storyline to also make it fun, make it interesting. You know, epic journeys, heroes, but then there's have to be villains. And once you start to get involved in stories again, you're back in the karmic cycles, right? You're back into that fractal nature of everything. So the idea in this is to somehow create something that's going to interest us, something that's going to be cool enough to hold our attention. You know, Krishna and Radha, right? That relationship, Shiva and Shakti. How beautiful is that? That intertwining of energies, the masculine, feminine, positive, negative, that whole thing, light and dark. And that's what the dance is, the Leela, of course. So I'm learning to dance. And I'm happy to share that process with you as much as I can. but I'm also more than willing to be taught. That's the relationship that I look for. So the next part of this class is going to be somewhat easy. You're going to have your arms out, just like you're pushing out on this big sphere of consciousness around you, right? You're sitting in your sphere. Find a way to set your arms here so they kind of float. So you can just certain muscle situations. Make sure the spine is straight, chin is down. Just do some long, deep breathing here for a moment. You'll find a way to do this if you can get deep enough into this. Now, by pushing the arms out like this does create a chemical reaction in the body as well, and it does push your aura out, your field of consciousness out to your arms, because there's a consciousness involved here. There's a field that holds the arms up after a while. More than just willpower. You actually find a way they just float. As Kier would like to say, there's no gravity. They just float. There's no possibility. They stay there because that's what they're doing. Not your muscles. It's the energy fields itself that holds it. So this is serious martial art type stuff, right? You're finding ways to control the body without having to struggle to do it. So go inside and see if you can get that and figure that out. Inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. Part of this visualization, just pushing out in the field of energy, the sphere that you're sitting in, if you're going to get a little bit of a clear imagination on that, by pushing out the tactile tension of the sphere, actually hold your hands up. You can visualize it that way. It feels like that, There's ways you can approach these things to have these fields of energy actually manifest. Okay? Long and deep breathing, inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. Truth is our identity, our vibration. Now inhale, bring the hands into the heart center, palms together. Exhale. Inhale out, exhale in. Simple, right? Keep up. From your heart out to the influence of your consciousness. Inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. Inhale at the heart center, palms together. Exhale and just stay here for a moment. Chin is down, spine is locked in place. Body's relaxed, you're kind of just having fun here. This is cool. Sit here forever, that kind of thing, right? Prayer pose, right? Hands at the heart center like this. Namaste. I bow to the light. I come in neutrality of consciousness. Balanced. Right, left, masculine, feminine, right? Balanced. When you come in a balanced state of consciousness, you're welcome everywhere. It's receptive and yet it's attentive. That's almost like a prayer too, isn't it? You almost feel like you should pray here. So there's that. But it's opening up the heart center and the balance that does it. In that level, that opens the sushumna, the central channel. When that starts to happen, there's a natural relationship with this elevator that moves up and down the nature of consciousness itself. And there's a natural relationship with the light that beckons from the crown itself. And that may be all that's going on here, is that somehow to create a structural platform for the earth itself, and we are of the earth as bodies, right? To experience that multidimensional relationship with the idea of everything. And if that's the case, or something like that's the case, then create this relationship. Talk to it. Speak to it lovingly. Speak to it with your actions, with every breath you take. That's the level of concentration and attentive this relationship really takes. And it takes a while to get that, at least in my case, being somewhat dense about this. But that's what it does. It requires your complete and full attention. Every breath, inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. Allowing yourself to have that relationship with the light within yourself. Visualize it. Feel that light coming down from the top of your head. Bring your hands out so their shoulders are back, fingers wide spread apart. Chin is down, you're pulling your shoulders back. There's not a lot, big pressure there. Long and deep breathing. Inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. Put that pressure on those fingertips. Pull the shoulders back. Feel that spine straightening out. Yes, that's it. Set the bandhas. Set the floor right there. Sphincter muscles are naturally under your control. Sexual organs naturally tied into the sphincter muscles, pulled up in under the rib cage. Just like that. Snap them in place. Holds the energy, seals it. Relax into that. Breath is long and deep. Relax into your body. This is the nature of this class, to be self-hypnotic. You have to find a way into the subconscious mind, consciously. And there's a lot of little programming hacks you can do to get there. You know, we can do these little mantra trips, we can do the kriyas. But the real trick here is to set the biology in place so there's nowhere else to go. You've set the locks, the bandhas. You set the fields of energy. Automatically it moves up through the body, and automatically it heals every organ. It bathes it in this warmth of your own biology. Let it move through your body. Breath is long and deep. It's hypnotic. You've got to find that place right between the conscious and subconscious mind. That place where you almost go to sleep and you actually do fall into it. But as you fall into it, you automatically reanimate, because the breath is tied into the mantra that's ever present as an undulation in this consciousness. And you're back and you go, that's what I'm doing. And you remember in that self-hypnotic state of consciousness, in that accessibility, and that becomes the coding sequences. At that level of meditation, you actually become aware of the sound quality of everything that's moving around you, and you can pull the coding around, you can start to change it, you can start to heal it. But you have to be able to be comfortable here. The body has to be stable. You have to flow into this. Inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. Why not? Why wouldn't this be where we'd hang out? Anywhere else? The nature of this relationship with the attention of consciousness and devotion set into place. There is a sense of seva. I think that has to be embedded in whatever personality construct you choose. And you're choosing here, by the way, to express as a relationship with this world itself and the universe. You're choosing that relationship, the parameters of it, and how it might be a narrative to you. Choose wisely and choose gracefully. Seva, serving that nature of the universal consciousness. Because what else are you going to do? You have a choice. We all have this choice. I think this is the nature of the dilemma. Is to choose to either be God or to serve God. And it seems to be a play, seems to be a dance between serving and being. And if you can find the right moves for that dance, if you can find that right steps and the music goes with that dance, the sound of the kirtan, right? The complex structures of the raga set in movements of time and space, those harmonics tied together. All music, classical, all of this stuff together, creating harmonics on those levels of consciousness. And you're tuning to that too, sitting, enjoying that. It's a level of witness, creating the stage that allows you to sit and enjoy that level of witness space of infinite possibilities. Comfortably, joyfully, healthily, happily, yes. So that's what this is about. It's creating that state of consciousness, both psychological model, biological reality, that allows you to sit back here and say, wow, what an interesting movie. And instead of just being a bit player in that movie, you can actually start taking some leading roles if you wish. Or you can just sit back and watch it. But that's the point of consciousness. It vectorizes out into fractal natures. You can choose to be open to the future that's probably already there for you. And I think that's what it comes down to, the freedom of choice. You can hang around, because time doesn't exist, right? Future, past may just be one big thing we're in. Our reference point in that particular lineage, that kind of way how things manifest or don't manifest, or fractalize in and out, our reference point is become set in these bodies, these biological structures. So whatever that place of reference you're along on that future, past, all together is from single cell all the way to the universal consciousness, right? We're at 37.2 trillion cells. How many cells is it going to take before we get to, is there enough cells? What's that magic number of cells that we could be infinitely consciousness? Does infinity have a number? I mean, serious questions, right? But that's where we are along this stage of awareness right now. 37.2 trillion cells worth working in some kind of cooperation. All right, so I'd like you to lay on your backs, please, and just relax for a minute. To just listen. I'll play these singing bowls, and there's chants that go with it that naturally come through. So just lay back and relax on your backs. Relax everything. Relax your feet, calves, ankles, knees, the whole thing. Work your way up. Relax the pelvis. All the way up. Relax the sexual organs. Relax your stomach and your intestines and all the different organs that hang out in that genital area. Relax your heart. Let the energy from your heart, as it relaxes, move out into your limbs. Relax your arms. Relax your fingers. Come back into your heart. Let the energy come up into your throat. Relax your throat. Relax your neck. Relax your brain. Just relax. Between the conscious and the subconscious mind, there is a pathway. We do it every night we fall asleep, every time we wake up. Between the conscious and subconscious mind is the pathway, is the Tao. And you gotta find a way. You gotta find a way to have a relationship between the archetypical collective and the personal real space of your ego. When that starts making sense, when that starts having a relationship based on devotion, love, harmony, joy, health, then we call on Shiva. 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 Om Namo Shivaya. Om Namo Shivaya. Shiva. Shiva. Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva, Sawa, 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 Kundalini Mata Shakti, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Namo, Namo, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Kundalini Mata Shakti, Namo. Now take a few long deep breaths, please. Come back into your bodies. Feel your body. You know, if this is the kind of the way you can get out of your body is the way you get back in your body. And you teach yourself this stuff. If you want to really astral travel, you have to learn the basic structural dynamics of this stuff, so you can get in and out easy. You know, so there's that. And it's a discipline, consciousness. You have to hold the mind somewhat focused in this myriad of storm of everything going on. Remembering, in the midst of all of this stuff going on all the different levels of consciousness, you're just sitting there watching this play from that vantage point. So train yourself, the discipline, inhaling Sat, exhaling Nam. Train your body to respond to the natural function of breathing and the heartbeat itself, to be programmed with each breath and each heartbeat to that nature of Sat Nam. Train yourself. It's a process. Start slow. Work yourself up to it until every breath becomes in tune with that. Every moment is a static consciousness then. Why not? Why wouldn't it be? So come back into your bodies, please, and now stretch and come sitting up. Rub your hands together and your feet together type stuff, whatever you got to do. Stretch! And come sitting up in an easy cross-legged position. And as you get there, give yourself a twist right and left. Push up with the hand that's going back around. Pull around, there you go, and then change direction, same thing the other side. And come sitting up with a straight spine, please. Long and deep breaths, set yourself again back in the body. Now to end this class, we'll sing May the Long Time Sunshine, and we'll do 3 long Sat Nams, and they are correspondent to the past, the worship of or remembrance of the past, genetic past, into the present, you know, where we're at with this particular space-time, pixelated length of wavelength, you know, where we're at. That's right now the center one, the present. And then the future, the idea of the intent of consciousness as it spreads across consciousness. And we can come up with a narrative to give a direction, a vector for that intent. We're becoming to the point now of consciousness that consciousness can start identifying itself. And that means we can start coding ourselves consciously, as opposed to just genetically bouncing against the walls until we finally get up here. Okay? So that's the 3 Sat Nams. But for right now, let's just sing May the Long Time Sunshine, okay? You deep breath. May the long time sun shine upon you, our love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long sunshine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. And just relax your breath for a moment. And now take the next breath in and feel it from the center of the earth. Feel if you're grabbing into this molten lava. Just gonna visualize that heat and warmth there. Thousands of miles down. Pull into it, grab into it. Pull that heat up into your spine, the base of your spine. Exhale and inhale again. Pull that heat all the way up through. All the way up through the third center. Shoulders come back naturally, strong. Chin is down. Bring it into the heart center. Heal the heart. That heat comes up. All the way up now. Feel that warmth, that ojas coming up the spine, all the way into the neck, the throat center. Feel that water feeling, that harmonic pebble tossed in the calm lake effect on multidimensional experience, that harmonic. That's the throat center. That's the coding center. That's how we create the narratives to ourselves of consciousness to open up the possibility of this consciousness. Go into the third eye center, the ajna. Feel this energy coming up. This is biological now. This is the Kundalini. It's a thing. Not just a visualization. This is a thing. It moves up, right up into it. Opens up. These twin snakes start spinning, and you're on each side of it. It creates the central channel, the sushumna. Naturally, you're sitting in it perfectly calm, relaxed. Weightless. In the sushumna, central channel, Kundalini becomes activated on both sides, right? Moving around, sets this full framework of consciousness, and you're sitting there in total awesome peace. Bathing in the light. Totally in the present moment. Happily. Okay? So we're going to do the long sat nams now. So inhale. And then grab this energy, pull it up all the way up, take it up to the top of your head like we were. Inhale and raise your hands over your head. Inhale deep. No. Touch the earth. Let your breath come long and deep. Feel the earth. Just feel that connection with the earth now. This is the present moment. This is who we are in this pixelated reality, right? We're right here. Make it a blessing to be here. Make a feeling to be here. Pull the energy up now from the center of the earth. Pull it up all the way through the chakras. Pull it up with his shoulders back naturally. All the way up. Tongue touching the top of the palate. Raise the hands over the head. Inhale deep. Touch the earth, feel it. Mother Earth, right? This is what's going down here. This is your relationship with that consciousness. Inhale up, bring it up the spine. This is for the future, for the children, our children's children type thing. But these are our future incarnations of ourself as a being of consciousness. So we're creating that with a narrative that, in the intent that we put into this chant. So bring the energy up from the base, all the way up through, all the way to the chakras, all the way up. Inhale, raise the hands over the head. Relax your breath. So this is the temple within our own minds that we have created. This is the meditation room within our own minds that we have created. And it's set biologically too. You have to do the discipline with this. Otherwise the body will distract you. And your idea of the conscious and the state of conscious that we're creating is that you gain some control over this. You gain control of your own body. I mean, why not? Why would you not try to have a relationship intimately with every muscle in your body, at least, at least a general series of them, right? Why wouldn't you? It's your body, for God's sake. Why would you want a relationship with anybody else until you figure out your own body? Go into that level of it. So this is the prayer, the biological nature and the narrative, the story that we tell ourselves. This is the prayer for the future, the intent of consciousness itself. And I'm listening to myself, hoping to learn, and I'm listening to you too. Sunya. Satnam, thank you guys for joining us. Waheguru.